Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sir Gavin. In this video, we will be solving these limits using the limits that we solved in the previous video. So remember, kaya ang limit, if you were to solve the limit of sine t all over t, it's always equal to 1, as t approaches 0 of course. And also, if you have 1 minus cosine t all over t as the function, as t approaches 0, it's always equal to 0. Now, we will use these concepts here to solve these two problems. Number 1, we have to solve for the limit of sine x all over x as x approaches 0. So as I mentioned in the previous video, applicable ni siya for all angles na the same po og denominator. I mean, ang angle ng denominator will be the same. So our angle here is 6x, but the denominator is x. So here comes the problem, no? Kaya di ba sila pareho, 6x man ang mabaw, I mean ang angle, ang denominator is just x. So dili na ito ma-apply ang kanina concept. Kay, di ba, kung mo siyang i-substitute right away, no, kung mo i-substitute ang 0, then this becomes sine of 6 times 0, of course, 0 gyapon. All over denominator, which is 0 gyapon, kay x atong value is 0 man, which is equal to 0, 0 over 0 gyapon, di ba? Indeterminate gyapon siya. So we have to look for some other ways. If you want tabular, that's fine, okay, wala problema. Pero, kung gusto ka nga mas simpler, and then like ayun simple solution, you have to have prior knowledge to this. O niya, you'll just do a little algebra para mas madali ka. Kanini nga siya, ito na ganito na concept. We will try to consider the angle which is 6x. Ang angle ng 6x, we cannot change that. Because the 6x of kaning sine function, minyo na sila. When you say minyo, di na pwedeng buwagon according to scriptures, no? So, dili pwede nga ito na siya separate. Okay? So, atong buhaton, kanini ang denominator ang mo adjust. Atong i-adjust ang denominator. So, what will we do? From the limit of sine 6x all over x as x approaches 0, ato ning buhaton 6x. So, what do? We will apply some concept in algebra. You can just multiply, no? Pwede mo na siya i-multiply of 6 over 6. So that, kung mo i-multiply ang 6 dito sa denominator, it becomes 6x. So how did I know na 6 over 6 ako yung multiply? Okay, first, there's one rule in mathematics. The number one rule, do not change the given. Okay, again, do not change the given. So, kanini ang function, when you multiply it by 6 over 6, it doesn't change the value. Okay? So, mura na siya na-change ang image, pero the value is just the same. Mura na ikaw nga lahi o gisulob, no? Nag-uniform o wala nag-uniform, but it's basically just you. Mo na itawag na ito na identity property sa algebra, no? Of multiplication. So when you say identity property of multiplication, you multiply anything by 1, the result is always the same. Okay? So kanini when you multiply it by 1, it's just the same. 6 over 6, as you know, is just the same as 1. 1 ramang gihapon na siya, pero ako lang siyang gamit as 6 over 6. Well, for what reason? Anong dili man 1 akong gamiton? Well, it doesn't make sense, no? Ako ang gigamit ang 6 over 6 aron mahimo na siyang 6x, okay? So, what's next here is this, no? Mo ni may tabo niya after. This is now equal to the limit of 6 sine 6x. Guys, don't multiply 6 by the angle, ha? Kay basin og malipad mo, ana. You are not multiplying to the angle. As I said, minyo na silang duha. So, di na pwedeng buwagon. In other words, kanang 6 ni mga value, imo gina siya i-multiply sa kanina nga expression because this is considered as 1. Okay? Gawas na ko sa sud ka sa angle ng multiply. But here, we are multiplying dito sa sud mismo. Then, dito sa itong expression, all over the 6x. Okay? So, ang 6 i-multiply diha, ang 6 i-multiply diri. Recall that when you multiply fractions, you only need to multiply the numerators and also denominators as x approaches 0. Now, from here, it's very noticeable, I think, hopefully makita mo na kani siya, na-satisfy na siya. The angle and the denominator are now the same. Pero naisima na 6. Okay? So, what should I do? Remember, the limit law, no, naa sa limit law na ito, basta naa kay kanang numerical coefficient, pwede rin mo siya ipagawas. Okay? So, meaning, ipagawas na ko ang 6, then you will come up with the limit of the sine 6x all over 6x as x approaches 0 ang magbilin. Okay, so ipagawas nimo ang 6 nga numerical coefficient, gibili nimo na. Ayaw niya pila pagawas ha. Kaya actually pwede man nimo na siya ato pagawas. Pero kung ipapili mo ng pagawas, mabalik ka sa ganun. Okay, so nani ang atong style guys, no? Diskarte ay siya. So we are trying to match things up, no? Mura to bitaw siyang gi-try na to sa diskarte nga mahitabo na itong gusto. Kay moment atong ang problema, di ba? If only nga 6x pa lang unta na, then we have less problem. Okay? So what we do, we put 6 here, ayaw pud kuha ang balik. Okay? Ang uban, wala diskarte as I said, no? Ibilin ang kinahanglan ibilin unya katong ipagawas tong kinahanglan ipagawas. So what we have here now will be 6 times kana siya in terms of limit, as you know, it's just equal to 1. So of course 6 times 1 is just equal to 6. So this will be your limit. No? This is the limit of kaning ni ang function as x approaches 0. Okay? Now, let's proceed to number 2. We have the limit of 1 over cosine 2x minus 1 all over 2x. Again, if you will try to substitute the value, okay, mantanawon, medyo kuan gyapon siya because this becomes 1 man, di ba? Ito na i-solve. This is 1 over cosine 0 minus 1 all over 2 times 0. Now, 1 over cosine 0, as you know, cosine 0, if you recall, that's equal to 1. Again, check using your calculator if you have doubts. So 1 over 1 is 1, minus 1 is 0. All over 2 times 0 is, of course, 0 gihapon. So meaning, indeterminate ang imong result. Okay? So you have to do something else, no? Pwede ka mag-tabular, pwede sad ka mag-discarte ay lang algebraically. But of course, no, I encourage you to do the kanang algebraic way. Para mas practice mo for the sake of the future na itong discussions. In here, kana lang, kung gusto lang mo kana medyo sure na answers, then you may consider tabular. But if you want na makapractice with mo algebraically, then better use some methods in algebra. Then we have here again, atong ang ipadayon. First atong buhaton is tanaw na, klaro kayo, ang angle o ang denominator pareho unta. But the problem is, medyo complicated siya because this one is a complex fraction. Ako na i-try combine. Okay? Ako na i-try combine. Mura bitaw guys, so sometimes if you don't know kung sa mahitabo, then just do trial and error. And the later part, di na lang din ka mag-analyze kung sa'yo buhato next. Okay? If di galing mo work, then try another method. Okay? So from here, actually, fraction form kani is not a fraction. I can just combine them and let's see what will happen. So this is equivalent to the limit. Ako na i-combine ang numerator. Of course, as I can see, ang denominator will be cosine 2x. So in other words, this will be my least common denominator. Now applying the least common denominator idea, when you divide, when you do the LCD, ito na lang i-recall para dili kayo mag-listen. Diba, kung mag-subtract ang 1/2 and 3, for example, imong buhaton na is ang LCD is 2. Because understood man siya nga na over 1. Okay, kung naputang over 1, understood naman na siya. So, ang LCD is 2. Next mong buhaton, di ba? I-divide mo ang 2 o kanini ang denominator. And then, i-multiply sa 1. Okay, di ba? What we do is this. We divide. Whatever the result is, we multiply. Okay? So, ang cosine 2x, i-divide mo ang cosine 2x, that's equal to 1. Times 1, syempre 1 gihapon. Okay? Sa pikas, same story. You divide it here, niya pagkahuman, i-multiply mo sa 3. So, cosine 2x divided by, understood na ay 1, di ba? Kay 1 over 1 man ang 1. Cosine 2x divided by 1 is just cosine 2x. Times 1 is cosine 2x gihapon. All over 2x. As x approaches 0. Okay? So, hopefully, mas klaro na guys na. Kung may tandaan yung manalo. Next na yung buhaton is saman. Ano na yung problema. Guys, makita niyo nga kanina klaro kayo na siya. And this one. Okay? Kada na sa gawang paningkabutan. Ang buwi na sa mukan na cosine 2x. So, sa buhaton ako niya. Aron matangtang na siya. Okay? So, kaya nung panikamutan nga, ang mahibilin will be 2x na lang na yun. That's the idea. So, pwede ka mag-divide, like, yung i-divide ang kani complex fraction, kaya fraction man kani is not, you can divide right away, or pwede sad, nga, diskarte ay nga style, para mas maanad mo yung ani nga style. Denominator si cosine 2x here in the numerator. No? Kani siya nasa sa denominator in the numerator. If ako siyang i-multiply o cosine 2x, I can actually see in advance na makancel na ko siya afterwards. Diba? Okay. No, agree. So, nara. If matangtang siya, syempre, mabili na lang And problem solved because we have this. 0 naman siya diretso. Pero nasa kayo sa problema, kung i-multiply mo siya cosine 2x, then you are already changing the given. Di ba? Pumana akong gingon. Na you can do anything you want as long as you are not changing the given of kanang the problem. So kana, kay cosine 2x, gusto na ko siya i-multiply cosine 2x, i-divide na po na ko siya o cosine 2x. Aron, mahimo na siyang 1 po. Di ba? Meaning ang numerator, gi-multiply cosine 2x, ang denominator po, gi-multiply cosine 2x. Okay, so again, I'm not violating anything because this is just equivalent to 1. Okay? Kung gusto ba mo, cosine 2x over 1, cosine 2x over 1, para sama ko na kayo. Just simply cosine 2x over cosine 2x. In this way, if mo na siya i-simplify, mamali ang resulta din after. Ako na na-swap dito na So this is the limit of cosine 2x times 1 minus cosine 2x all over cosine 2x all over pa yun. All over pa yun. 2x cosine 2x. Okay, so this is now the idea. So, ang gibuhat na to gi-multiply si cosine 2x dire, syempre, mo ni resulta. Siyempre, mabili na si cosine 2x. Ako na i-kopya. Ang 2x, you multiply dito, siyempre, you will get this. From there, ako ni parenthesis, just to emphasize na it's the angle. You can cancel this out na. Okay, muna akong pasabot. Siyempre, mabilin this will just become equal to the limit, sorry, as x approaches 0 din you have the limit of, kaninian na lang siya, 1 minus cosine 2x, where did I put this? Cosine 2x all over 2x cosine 2x. Siyempre, as x approaches 0. Now, nanasad. Naray mong target, yung target is kani o kaniniya. Di ba? Muna itong target. Okay. So, what I will do is, ako na siyang i-separate. Kinahanglan kaniniya ragid siya. Dapat dili ni siya masagul. Ano itong buhatan sunod? That's only equivalent to the limit. Ako na siyang ilain, So, ako na siyang ilain. That's 1 minus cosine 2x all over 2x times 1 over cosine 2x as x approaches 0. Okay? So, what did I do, Ako na siyang gilain, as I said, kanina kanang ako ang i-target nga expression. Ngayon, pagkahuman, kaning cosine 2x, ako siyang i-separate into another expression. Di ba? Kaya kung ako, imuha na siyang i-simplify, kung imuha na siyang i-combine, di ba? Maano siya? 1 times this, yes, just the same. Cosine 2x times 2x will be this one. So basically, I'm not changing anything. Ako lang siyang i-separate, ako siyang i-bungkag, ako siyang i-factor out, kibali, So from here, it becomes this one. And I tell you, they're just the same. Okay, again, kung mo na siyang i-combine, mabalik rin hapon na siya. Denominator mo na siya, meaning 1 over cosine 2x na. Okay? Then, here we go. Remember the limit law? Basta mag-multiply gani ka, pwede ra nga mag-limit. Kuhanin mo ang limit sa first na expression, and then sunod na sa na expression, or factor by factor na pagkuha sa limits. So you have the limit, unahon na kukuha ninyo, kanikibali, the limit of 1 minus cosine 2x all over 2x as x approaches 0 times the limit of 1 over cosine 2x as x approaches 0. Okay na. Di ba? Mo man itong gibutang sa no? Sa limit laws. If nakalimot mo, then you have to go back to the video nga nag-discuss ko of limit laws. So kani, it's very simple. This is just this one. No? Kay pareho na ang angle ng denominator. So meaning, it's equal to 0. Times, kana siya, if i-substitute nimo ang 0 diha, syempre, may mo na siyang 1 over cosine 0. Diba? Kay cosine 2 times 0, syempre 0 gihapon. Yan, this is 1, diba? Cosine 0 is equal to 1. Kunya, 0 times, 1 man siya, 1 over 1 is just simply 1. Okay, so 0 times 1 is 0. And this is now the limit of the function. So meaning, the result for this one is equal to 0. And that's it. Okay, so that's it for this video, guys, and see you in the next examples.